Hi, Andy Nelson. So I was in the grocery store last week, walked out, put my groceries away, looked over at the cart return, and I saw this sign right here. So you might want to push pause for a quick second. Take a look at this. Oop. Okay, so what we have here, we saw a better tasting light beer than Michelob Ultra. It has a picture of St. Archer Gold, which I think is at least a local California beer. I'm not sure if it's everywhere else, but basically it's a diet beer, okay? And we all know Michelob Ultra is also a diet beer. So when I saw that, it made me think about my childhood, and a lot of you probably saw what I saw, which is something called the Pepsi Challenge, which is a commercial on TV, and you'd see people from the street walking up and invited to try a few different colas and pick which one they liked better. And then it was the Pepsi Challenge, so as you can imagine, there was the big reveal each time, and so many people were surprised that they chose Pepsi over Coke. And of course, Pepsi uses to demonstrate, or at least impress upon people that they have a better tasting cola. What we know as comparative advertising. And over the years, I've always been asked, how can I do that? How can they do that? How can they use Coke in their commercial? That sort of thing. Think about it. You see comparative advertising all the time. And why do people do it? Because it's freaking awesome, right? It's really effective if done right. And in fact, it would be kind of ridiculous if the rule was you could not refer to your competitors' trademarks. Let's say Pepsi said, "Hey, today we're going to invite a number of people off the street to try our Pepsi versus a competitor's cola that comes in a red can with white scripted lettering. We're not going to say what it is for fear that we're going to get sued, but that's you have to kind of infer what it is." That'd be kind of stupid. And really, there's no rule because remember, trademark laws protect consumers from confusion in the marketplace. They want to know where they're getting their products. And when you refer to a competitor's product accurately, you're not creating confusion. So naturally, there is no problem. So comparative advertising, use of a competitor's marks that way is fair. However, there are some things you want to think about while you're doing it. One, you want to make sure you don't butcher the competitor's marks in some way. Mangle them, different colors or whatever. I mean, you want to use it accurately, number one. Two, if you're using comparative advertising, you're going to be making claims about something. This one is a better tasting beer. Now that one is what we call puffing, which is kind of like I'm the best beer on the planet kind of thing. I don't know if you can really reduce that to some kind of scientific method to determine whether that's true or not. So that sort of thing, probably okay. I'm better than they are, that kind of thing. Because consumers don't really, they don't expect that to be necessarily provable. But if you say I have 20%, 25% fewer calories than Coca-Cola or something like that, you better be ready to back that up if you got called to the carpet. So don't mangle the marks, use them accurately, and don't be deceptive in some way. And I don't have a good example for that, but don't get too cute where you do something deceptive, which is also along the same lines of make sure your claims are accurate. And then ultimately, I talked about confusion a few moments ago. Don't do anything that would sort of cause confusion or affiliation or something that would cause consumers to believe there's a connection or an affiliation. You make it clear that you're competitors, right? You're not coming from the same source. So there's more to it than that. But I know people always have this question, which is how can they do that? How can they talk about someone else? Think about it. It happens all the time. Another one, real quick, before I get you off on this video, is out here. I think Best Buy is a retailer that's all over the U.S. or has been, and there was also at least one in California called Fry's, and I think they're in other states as well. And Fry's used to run a funny little ad years ago on the radio, and it used to say, "Your best buys are always at Fry's." Not exactly comparative advertising, not exactly using Best Buy's trademark, because they used it in a very descriptive sense to say your best buys, but nonetheless very close to pushing the edge. Not deceptive, not really comparative advertising, unless you're kind of saying we're the better buy than Best Buy's. I don't know. Anyway, I'm circling the drain on that one. That's just kind of a clever advertising method that they use. That wasn't quite comparative advertising, but certainly pushed the line. Anyway, if you have questions about this video, comparative advertising, use of another competitor or competitor's trademark, feel free to shoot me a message. Look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.